Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Power Vacuum. I'm your host, Belmont. And we just had another game or studio have to deal with a court battle. It seems not a single month can go by without some studio or some game company getting embroiled in legal antics. We've got this article from Game Rant. Popular Steam game Schedule 1 is under investigation. Schedule 1 surged in popularity on Steam with 130K players in 2 days. That's really good. The game is being investigated for possible copyright infringement by the developer of Drug Dealer Simulator. Movie Games SA claims Schedule 1 may be or may have used elements from Drug Dealer Simulator, but the outcome of the investigation is uncertain. May have used elements. I haven't read this article yet, but I don't care what game you make. If it involves dealing with drugs, it's going to have similar elements because there's only so much you can do when it comes to pretending to be a drug dealer. If anything, you might be able to make the argument that these guys are ripping off Grand Theft Auto. But let's see. Just as Schedule 1 has started blowing up on Steam, it's become the subject of a copyright investigation by another indie developer. Isn't it crazy how that always happens? They don't care about this until the game blows up and gets big. The co-op crime simulator, it's co-op? Really? I didn't realize that. Simulator hit earlier access on March 25th, 2025, and quickly became a hit among PC gamers. But now it looks like it might face some roadblocks in the future. Schedule 1's similarities to another older drug dealing management game may be a little more than a mere coincidence, according to a recent report. TVGS's first efforts became something of an instant classic when it debuted on Steam. The TVGS's. It took just 2 days for Schedule 1 to surpass 130,000 concurrent players and achieve an overwhelmingly positive rating. However, in skyrocketing popularity, has caught the attention of more than just PC gamers looking for their next indie adventure. According to the statement reported by Polish press agency Movie Games SA, the studio behind the Drug Dealer Simulator series has finished a legal analysis concluding that Schedule 1 may have violated Drug Dealer Simulator's intellectual property rights. Some fans call Drug Dealer Simulator 2 one of the best criminal management games available today. And if this report is accurate, it seems that TVGS may have thought so too. According to the Movie Games Essay investigation, Schedule 1 used elements from the Drug Dealer Simulator series, plot, mechanics, and UI enough to warrant further action. So I have a question. Is this further action in Poland? Because Polish press agency, or maybe it's Polish press agency, but I assume they was talking about Poland. In which case, it depends on where this game was made, if you can even do anything, because copyright law in other countries is a lot harder to land. That's why the Pokemon, well, no, because Pokemon and Power World are both Japanese, I believe. Movie Games SA claims Schedule 1 may have borrowed from the Drug Dealer Simulator. In response to this initial investigation, Movie Games SA plans to conduct a closer examination, including reviewing the legal sources familiar with Australian law, as TVGS is an Australian based studio. Okay, well, there we go. Whether this will lead to any formal charges is uncertain for now. In the meantime, Schedule 1 is continuing to release news updates and enjoying an impressive level of success. According to the investigation, the game has surpassed The Witcher 3's peak player count and sold close to 3 million copies as of April 3, 2025. Is that true? Past Witcher 3's peak player count? Well, if that's the case, how many people played Witcher 3 from Steam and not from disc? Because I think that's one of the few PC games that's popular on disc. I played it on Xbox. I know people that have. No, actually, I take that back. I don't know anybody that played it on PlayStation. I don't even know if it's actually on PlayStation. Um, Copyright cases in gaming can be complicated. Yes, yes, they certainly can. 100% agree with that sentiment. I look at a lot of copyright claim cases. Most of them don't go anywhere because it's from one nation to another, And if the game's really, really popular, the country that the game is based out of, they're collecting tax revenue off of that, and they're not going to let that go easily. So when they're like, "Hey, you need to file a copyright claim against this," so if like Germany tells Ireland to file a copyright claim because of a game that's infringing upon them, Ireland might just, give Germany the old double deuce and tell them to go piss into the wind because that's not going to happen. They want their tax revenue. While there are plenty of examples of studios successfully defending their IP, such as the Pokemon Company's recent Pocket Monster remake court victory, it's not always clear if something is violating copyright law or simply paying homage. Some cases are also just a matter of parallel thinking, as some developers are bound to have some similar ideas given how many people are making video games today. So let me rewind real quick. Paying homage. I don't remember what writer said it, but there was a writer that said homage is a fancy word for theft. And I don't know if I 100% agree with it because you can pay homage to something without outright ripping it off. Parodies do this. Um, some of them outright rip off, but because of the rule of parody, whatnot. Where was I? Where the Schedule One versus Drug Dealer Simulator situation falls is uncertain for now, but things are apparently suspicious enough to move Games SA to look into it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say I've never even heard of Drug Dealer Simulator, and if you told me that was a game, I would assume it was a mobile game or an app game, not an actual game, because it doesn't sound like one. The whole whatever simulator thing kind of died with Farm Simulator 9 when people were realizing that holy shit, there's 9 of these games and we didn't even know it. And I think the only majorly successful simulator game since Farm Simulator that I can recall, I'm probably wrong, but is Power Wash Simulator, which people are really big into, mostly because of Markiplier and Game Theory, because that's how I found out about it. I didn't know what it was before that, but yeah, I've never heard of Drug Dealer Simulator. I have heard of Schedule One. I've been seeing things pop up for it, so maybe it was just a lack of adequate marketing. Maybe Steam didn't think people would care about it because it was another simulator game to get lost in a sea of simulators. But Merde Simulacrum? No, that's a thing. Never mind. I was trying to do some French, but I know Merde Noms, a sea of names. But yeah, that's the current legal battle that is just kicking up. We're gonna have to wait to see where this goes. I personally don't think it's gonna go anywhere because I feel that there's a bunch of other games that have you being a drug dealer, emulating being a drug dealer, and they could easily step into the fray and say that Drug Dealer Simulator is ripping them off. And in turn, this is ripping them off. Well, you can't claim the rights to something if you took the idea from somebody else kind of situation. But we'll just have to wait and see. That's all I have for this report. This is your host, Belmont, signing out.